gonna do a video of putting together the Columbia Coatings Kool Koat oven that I got. It's a 3-foot by 2 3/4 by 3-foot oven. So decent size that I can do wheels, 4-link bars, miscellaneous parts. Nothing too big, but wanted to do it as a starting point. I do have my 4x8 plasma table that a lot of stuff I cut people ask to be powder coated. So went ahead and got this powder coating oven. Gonna go ahead and put it together. I'll show you guys what I've done is I actually read the instructions first, and I've gone and kind of laid everything out in the different sections. So you've got the base with the casters, kind of like the mid-level that goes next to that, the uprights, then all the little different sections as you kind of build it up. I've put in different areas to hopefully help aid it getting all put together. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse and show you putting it all together. All right, so my battery died while I was working on this, while I was able to get the interior and exterior panels on. Wasn't too hard. Directions sometimes weren't the best, but pretty easy to figure it out. All the screws are on. You can see I still got to cut out the holes here in the insulation to pass through the fan, the electrical stuff. Got the roof done of it as well. So now I'm gonna go and get, and you can see here, these are where the actual heating elements, the conduit goes through, and the heating element will go on the inside. So now what I gotta do is get the door on. It is a big door, don't mind my Mountain Dew there. Pretty heavy, so they do recommend 2 people to do it. So I called up Pops, and he's gonna come over and help me get this on, and then I can finish the rest of the install. All right, so I actually have one of these gorilla ladders, step ladders. Got it from Home Depot on a sale. It was priced wrong or whatever. Use it a lot for workbench, little step ladder to get the roofs of cars, whatever it may be. And it almost works perfectly. Now again, this is a 2-person job. You can see it's still got to come up some, but it's almost dead on. So now it's a lot more manageable for 2 people to do it. Again, you could maybe do it with 1 person, but if you had this step ladder or something similar, just a lot easier to do 2 people. All right, so started on the electrical, got the junction boxes on both sides that go into the heating elements. I just feed through a little conduit that goes through. Kind of see it back in through there. The wires come out. Then you hook up the box to 5/16 tappers on each side. Run around this side here. Like I said, it has the main control box that'll be mounted up here. And then that's the blower motor for the fan that will go up on the roof. So got that one tapped in. Now I'm gonna go and put in the actual elements here. And then these just go in by self-tappers. So go ahead and get that in and show you what's next. All right, so got the heating elements in. These tabs don't mount the best because it's really in the edge of this bend. I tried to see if maybe I could bend them up, but then the heating element's going to be in the way of getting the self-tapper in. So I was able to get them in on both sides. It is close, but it fits. And now I'll put in the element guards that go on the sides. All right, and now the element protectors are in. There's some slots down in here that they fit in. You've got self-tappers across the back, and then little L brackets on each side. All right, so now you got to attach the motor to this back panel that goes up against there. But to do that, you've got to swap the bolts, which instructions really aren't that clear. But what you do is there's these long bolts that come through here, and you've got to take off the nut that's over here, then pull it out. Then this will go through the bracket, through the mount, and then nut on the backside. Yeah, I said nut on the backside. So I'll go ahead and swap those out, and then we'll get the motor mounted up. All right, so here's the motor attached. As you can see, the bolts go through this way with the L brackets. That's obviously the shaft that's going to go through the back part. I went and made a little hole, just a screwdriver through there, open it up, and you can see the bolts come through, and then the nuts just attach. Don't forget, there is one of these that has a ground on it, so make sure that you reattach the ground through there. All right, so the fan motor, propeller motor is mounted here. Got to mount this junction box. Probably just do it somewhere right there. Shaft comes through. There's a little brass looking collar that goes over. You've got 2 set screws that are Loctited. They give you Loctite and say to Loctite, but it's already got Loctite on the screws, at least on this one. So Loctite the set screws. Then you've got these 3 screws that slide over, and those already have Loctite on them as well too. So put those in, tighten them down, and then the fan shroud that goes on this back piece will go in next. All right, guys, so here you can see we did a step backwards. You can learn from my mistakes. I went to put the fan shroud cover on, and it wouldn't fit. Reason being is I put these self-tappers from the top down. Probably should have realized that, but they need to go from here up because the fan shroud won't clear here. So you can see I started taking some out. Of course, you got to take off the top panel and all the insulation, which is what I've been working on. But got to get the rest of this side. All down this side too, you can see there's the mounts here, which these self-tappers would interfere with. So if you noticed it before and you're trying to tell me, I appreciate it, but sometimes you realize your mistakes. This one wasn't too hard to figure out to then go back. Luckily, it's just taking off the top panel and some insulation. All right, guys, so got the door seal on. I used the red silicone tube that they give you, and then the seal that's there. Did the outer panels here. You can see how these slide over. You just loosen these bolts, slide those over. Then the red silicone and the foam goes around it. I did have to make some small pieces, just kind of fit in, make sure that there's no gaps. The good thing is with the red silicone is it doesn't tack up too fast. So you're able to move it around and get your seal exactly how you want it. Since it is cold here in Tennessee, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up. I did get the door latch on. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it up and let it sit overnight just to make sure that, you know, since the temperatures are kind of colder here right now, it'll seal up good and the seal will stay. All right, guys, so here's the final setup. I was able to go ahead and get it right next to my spray booth. Got the handle in here to open it up. Plenty of room, pop it open. Open up the door. Still got to clean it out a little bit, but got the top rod in. The only thing I haven't done yet is there's a little damper right here to allow ventilation. Well, they don't tell you until about the last step that you're supposed to use this with a 5/16 bolt that'll go up through there into the top, and you're supposed to cut a hole out of the insulation. Of course, they don't tell you that until after you've already got the top on, which I already took off a second time because I made a mistake. So gonna do that. I won't bore you guys with that. Get that installed in there and she will be done. So you've got this bar, it's the pipe. You can adjust it to wherever you need to for whatever you've got in the oven. You can add more if you need to add more. I'll show you the control box. I do still have to run the power on it. I'm gonna go ahead and just seal this up so that gasket can stay on there. The only thing I don't like is this seems to be pulling out a little too much here. So time will tell how long that sheet metal screw holds in. But over here is the control box. As you can see, I've got to run power to it. I haven't done that yet. But everything's mounted. I'm gonna put a box just right here next to my switch and I'll be good to go. So the control box, pretty simple. You've got your power on off, an alarm, and then here's where you set all of your temperature. Pretty easy. It'll show you the top one shows your actual value and then the bottom is your set value. So whatever, if you set it to 400 degrees, it'll show you as it's warming up, just like a regular oven as it's preheating. In the back, you'll see there's this cord. There is a temperature probe that goes in there. Kind of hard to see, but you need to leave some gap for that temperature probe to fit in. Got that in there. You also have the motor you have to worry about. And actually, it just sits pretty flush against the 2x4s there. The other box I mounted there, and then you've got the cable going around. All right, so now obviously I've got a mess here I need to clean up because my shop was totally apart. Overall impression of the install, I would say I probably give it about a 7, 6 or 7. Biggest thing I would say is the directions aren't that clear in a lot of the steps. A couple things I had to go back and redo because it really didn't say it in the directions on what to do. But the quality is definitely there. It looks to be a nice unit. Excited to start using it. I'll be doing some videos here and show you some of the first things that I powder coat. One of the first things is a hood prop over there that I'm working on. Actually, it'll probably be the first thing that I powder coat in here. So gonna be doing that probably next week or the week after. Try and get it done before Maggie Valley to hand deliver it out to a buddy. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more.